All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Facebook and YouTube Live here at East Central ISD. And my name is Brandon Oliver, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at ECISD. And today we got a very special broadcast because we are talking about all about this new high school here at East Central, Cass Lead High School. And so if we're going to be talking Cass Lead, we have to bring on, without a doubt, the principal of Cass Lead, Dr. Wendy Fuller. And Dr. Fuller, how are you doing this evening?
I'm great. Thank you, Brandon. Welcome, everybody in Facebook land.
and YouTube too. So, Dr. Fuller, tell us what we're doing tonight.
So we'd really like to spread the word about how awesome Cass Lead is and introduce you to some of the key players that have partnered with Cass Lead to really create a learning environment where students discover their interests and find their purpose and unlock their leadership potential. I'd like to say that from day one, students and teachers are exploring how learning applies in the real world, and students are really seeking to solve real problems. And we do that as a team through project-based learning. And I think what makes us unique is all teachers work together as a team to really develop those leadership skills in students, equipping them with the tools necessary for success after graduation. And you're going to get to meet some of those partners today, including some amazing students and parents and industry partners and a teacher that really help us reach those goals and make us unique.
All right, and again, I love it because this is a high school from the ground up. This is the first year, right? This past year.
Yes, we just opened with 9th graders, and they are an amazing group.
Well, I saw a picture. Let's see the picture one more time. Those are some of the students, correct?
Yes. And they're just so unique in their talents and strengths, and I can't tell you how proud I am of them.
Yeah, they look smarter than me. I'll definitely tell you that much. But yeah, they're definitely great students. All right, so let's talk about everyone that you have on tonight. I'm going to do this little Brady Bunch thing where I'm going to kind of bring us all on at one time, and so that way you can make all the introductions, Dr. Fuller.
All right, so we will start with Ms. Caitlin Vasquez, and I'll let you introduce yourself and kind of talk about the unique role that you have here at Cass Lead.
Thanks, Dr. Fuller. So I'm Caitlin Vasquez, and I'm the Partnership Development Specialist. So that's somewhat of a unique position for a high school campus, but my primary role is to connect students with industry partners who act as mentors and motivators on these real-world projects that students work on throughout the school year. And these connections provide authentic learning opportunities, which prepare students to enter the workforce more qualified and successfully compete for high-demand, high-wage jobs. And so we're going to be hearing from some of our amazing industry partner connections in just a little bit. Thanks for having me.
All right, great. Katie, let's go ahead and start with you and the industry partner and your connection to Cass Lead.
Hi, so I'm Katie Chain. I'm with HEB. Been with HEB for 23 years. Love my job. I currently work on education and workforce initiatives. And what that really means is that I run a high school internship program. I used to be in the corporate recruiting team, and so it's really important for me to help students understand what skills they're going to need to get into the workforce. So I joined the Cass Lead Advisory Board with the hopes that I can just help students learn the skills that they need and be ready for the workforce or to go to college or whatever they choose to do. So I'm happy to be a part of this group and super excited to talk with you guys tonight.
All right. Thank you, Katie. And next is Bellarmino from Whataburger. And would you like to talk about your involvement with Cass Lead?
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Fuller. And yes, my name is Bellarmino Castellanos. They call me Bell for short. And I serve our 50,000 Whataburger family members and our restaurant guests and community across the 10-state footprint as the Senior Director of the customer support and command center team. And what that is comprised of our customer care team that manages all those loyalty relationships that we have with our guests, the contact center, which is the 24/7 resource that our restaurants can call into for anything from restaurant technology support to human resources, onboarding support, but in escalated issues, our business insights team that provides the reporting to help us with the business side, and the emergency management team, which helps take care of those crisis moments and help the business continue to move forward. And I've been with Whataburger for 20 years now, and I'm a proud member of the Cast Lead Steering Committee, where I am learning so much from all of you students, from our faculty and our administration on how we can continue to build that relationship as business with our schools and educational programs. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to collaborate with all of you today.
Yes, thank you. And your input is super valuable. So next, I'd like to introduce one of our teachers.
Hi, my name is Tim Bishop. I am the English Language Arts and Professional Communications teacher at Cast Lead, and I should have really introduced myself with I am the incredibly blessed English Language Arts and Professional Communications teacher. I've been teaching for 10 years in various areas in the around this community, and this is an incredibly unique experience for our students. But I will say, from my end, this is an incredibly unique experience to get to work with real industry professionals in helping guide what and how I teach to our students, and then take that feedback back to them. It's just an incredibly reciprocal and fulfilling place to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. And last but definitely not least, I'm honored to introduce to you one of our students and her parent. And Shayla, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, my name is Shayla Walsh, and I'm a student at Cast Lead.
Hello, my name is Shannon Walsh, and I'm Shayla's father, and I'm proud to be here supporting my daughter on this live event, because without supporting our children, who do they have? So thank you for having me as well.
All right. Got a great group here, Dr. Fuller. Definitely. And I know we want to start off with the partners first, and then we'll talk to the Shayla and her father, and then we'll talk to Mr. Bishop as well. And then, of course, for the viewers out there, you can comment at any time and ask your questions. And see, like Jessica Hernandez, she already says hi. So hello, Jessica Hernandez. Thank you for watching. All you need to do is comment, and we'll bring your question up on air just like that, and then we'll answer it. But first, Dr. Fuller, do you mind if I steal the industry partners from you?
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing that we do at Cast Lead that's kind of unique to us. And anybody that knows us, when somebody says something that you really agree with and you're just so excited, we do this, or we do spirit fingers. So if somebody's on air and you see us do this or this, that means that you just really connected with what they say. So just a little inside tip.
All right, so spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers
snaps.
or snap.
No jazz hands.
Well, yes. Yes, you can, Brandon. So,
I want to be inclusive, and I want to include, the jazz hands on that.
That's
So,
it.
all right. So now let me talk to the industry partners here. And so Mr. Bishop will put you to the back, Kaylin, and of course, Dr. Fuller. But we have with us, they've already introduced themselves. You know what? Bell Armino. I'm going to go with Bell.
Please.
I'm going to stick with Bell.
That's
and
great.
Of course, Katie Chain, and former East Central graduate, and now at HEB, so in a fantastic place. All right, so got some questions for you all. The first one, Belle, I'll go ahead and shoot this one at you. Can you tell us briefly about what led you to your current position?
Thank you very much. It's been quite the journey from the 30 years in the industry of quick service restaurants to even the DoubleTree hotel industry, Motorola, Luby's. What brought me to Whataburger was initially my desire to learn and teach and develop. And so the training and development side was what brought me to Whataburger. Did from training coordinating, Whataburger University, the academy that we have. Here in town, you do see a Whataburger University in Windcrest, and that desire to have that aha moment and learning how to problem solve is what led to me, like in the last 10 years have been in customer relations, customer experience, and emergency management, and that call center side. And all those elements just speak to whatever you need, we'll be able to solve for it or get someone that can help you. But more importantly, my training background was what we're using now to enable our operating partners, who are the restaurant leaders. They're able to self-solve, enable themselves to continue to pursue solutions to take care of our guests. So really, it's been quite the journey that throughout the years I've learned from the product development team and all the various groups that I've worked with to get me where I'm at now in the customer support and command center team. So in a nutshell, it's a little bit of everything, and it just goes back to service. So that's really where it's at.
Thank you. And Katie, same question.
So, being with so of course you mentioned I'm a proud East Central Hornet graduate. I'm not going to tell you what class because I'm not going to age myself. However, I will tell you that in high school, I got a part-time job working at Bill Miller Barbecue right up on Rigsby. And I really loved what I was doing there. I loved the customer service piece of it. I loved meeting people. I loved interacting with people. And if you live anywhere in San Antonio and you've worked at Bill Miller's or HEB, you've probably met a ton of people. So it was great for me. But as I got older, and for me, my track was not college. My track was going straight into the workforce. And so I worked for Bill Miller's actually for 10 years, was a manager there, loved my job, but needed a little bit of a change. So applied to HEB, got hired on into the stores. I was a deli manager, and then I went to be a store leader over an entire unit. And then from there, I went into the corporate recruiting team where I was hiring people for all over the company, to include accountants, industrial maintenance technicians, HVAC technicians, communications people. So it was really eye-opening to see all the amazing different careers that HEB has to offer. And from there, I was asked to help with a project, which was creating a high school internship program, but also creating the CAST network of schools. And so my passion all along, since I can remember, even start going all the way back to Bill Miller's, was really helping young people kind of figure out their life, figure out their track. There are some young people that are super lucky and have parents to guide them or people to guide them in their career. But there are also those students, which I was one, who really didn't have that in my life. And so I sort of took on that role with a lot of young people that worked for me, really trying to help them figure out, what do they want to do with the rest of their life? Where do they want to go? And I honestly feel that work-based learning opportunities or internships or job shadowing opportunities really do help students figure out what they want to do for the rest of their life. There's nothing like going to college and studying something for 4 years and then getting out of that after you've spent all your parents' money or gotten tons of loans and then realizing, gosh, I hate this job. So really helping students get into those work-based learning opportunities early to really help them kind of figure that out. And then, help them kind of figure out, what kind of education do I need to get the job that I want? Is it a certification program? Is it a 2-year associate's degree? Is it a 4-year? Is it an 8-year degree? Like my daughter is going to be going to vet school. So there's all kinds of different tracks. And I think students really need to know what their options are. And I love that the CAST network kind of helps these kids understand what their options are and then help to guide them in the right direction to get where they want to be.
Thank you. And Katie, what does your involvement with CAST Lead look like?
So interesting. So I've been involved ever since the first CAST school was just a drawing on a piece of paper 4 or 5 years ago, because of course it was a Charles Budd initiative. And since I worked for HEB, I got to be involved in the get-go. So when they announced that they were actually going to open the Cass Lead in East Central, of course, I jumped on that bandwagon because I'm from out there. And if you think about the area, there's not a lot of options for education out there. East Central is a fantastic district, but really offering this niche kind of school was just fantastic for those students who maybe don't fit in well with the huge school environment, or maybe they want to study something different, or maybe project-based learning is really how they thrive. So I've been able to be on the steering committee. I've been involved in the advisory boards. I've actually helped to interview teachers that were going to be teaching at the school, to include Tim. So if you don't like him, I didn't hire him, but I did recommend him because he's kind of a good guy. So yeah, I've been involved from the get-go, and I just love working with the team. They're fun, they're fantastic, they're super smart. And it's just exciting to go to meetings with them and really figure out what the future of Cass Lead looks like.
He wasn't on the on this little part right there where you were talking about Mr. Bishop. He was like literally jumping up and down like this. And so we're now adding a fourth, right? We got spear fingers, snaps, jazz hands, and now this too.
Tim's very creative, so who knows what he'll come up with next.
And that's true. And Belle, same question.
Well, my involvement is definitely, it started with Cass Lead, and I'm really happy that I'm able to participate in this leadership aspect of the end-to-end, seeing this amazing journey of the Cass school system. And I did have a chance to visit all the various campuses and meeting all the students and the faculty. But I really like being able to contribute on the leadership side for the sole reason that I really like the broad nature of what I'm hearing from our principal Fuller, Dr. Fuller, and the entire team that sees that, yes, we are looking at the hospitality, the retail, that restaurant industry, but end-to-end leadership is universal. And that is where I'm continuing to remind folks that, yes, I work for a burger company. What a burger, right? But we serve a lot of different products. But even beyond that, we're beyond the food. It's an experience that we want to have of those memories, folks walking in. We know what's going on in their community. We work with the families, trying to help out on the community side, but also those wonderful memories that are built by the leaders in that restaurant. So it doesn't become I'm going to that Whataburger. No, we're going to Mary's restaurant. We're going to Joe's restaurant. And that's what I love, the opportunity to listen to the curriculum, what is being taught, and also just that strength finding that occurs of, what are you passionate about? Our industry can support that. Well, what is it that I want to do? Well, I should go to do this. You can do that in our industry. And that's what I want to really convey, is that there's opportunity is just so plentiful in this particular industry that I'm in. And that's where I like where the students are able to think through, I want to work for that brand, but I don't want to, in my case, I don't want to work in a restaurant. Well, there's other opportunities. And that's where we're able to provide that different lens, so that the students can see that if you want to work for a certain brand or you want to do a certain function, try to merge those, and then you'll love where you're at and what you do. And that's very unique. So that's what I love listening to, how we can try to bridge that gap that sometimes folks go to work for a company that they don't care for because it's something that they like to do. And I love how these students are providing us with more insights as to what should the businesses be doing to get that talent into those doors so that we can all thrive.
And it's fantastic that our high school students get to work with outstanding companies like Whataburger and HEB that, I feel like y'all should be running things, honestly. You should be running the country because y'all have, done so well. But, the kids get these opportunities and training to be in leadership positions with these, very linked to Texas companies that do so much for our community, other than just the product themselves. That's a pretty good opportunity. Something that I know I didn't have back in high school, back in 1990, blah, blah, blah. but it's a pretty cool opportunity. Another question for you all real quick, and this will probably be the last one of this particular segment, but we're still doing a Q&A. Folks, please send in your comments and your questions. But Belle, what are the benefits of partnering with CAS Lead for students and for industry partners?
Well, right off the bat, real life examples of what is needed for the future of really all business and our communities. We were able to listen to some students the other day that presented their projects related to social justice and different things that were all just the candor from a student is what our business needs. And being able to listen to the students of, I'm a future employee of yours. In our case, we call our employees family members. I want to join you, but are you willing to accept these parameters of what makes me thrive as a Gen Z, Gen Y, millennial, and I'm a Gen Xer. And all of these different generations can learn from each other. And I think that that's where it starts, is what can we hear of what is needed for us to produce better, provide better products, and continue to serve what is needed to have loyalty with a brand. That's a tough piece that we need to continue to have that conversation. And our students at CAS Lead, they are providing us with those insights as business leaders, and we're able to provide them with, here's the feasibility of your idea. Some of the students had an app that they wanted to institute. We have plenty of background on how apps work and how you can merge the idea into a functional solution for something that comes from that feedback from each other. So that's just one example, just from one session that we had, that I went back to work and said, here's some great ideas from some students that are part of the CAS Lead program. And those students, if they're ever available and want to pursue a career at Whataburger, I know that I would be looking at these students that are looking at the business in a different light. So that's just one example I have.
Thank you so much. And Katie, same question.
So for me, there's a lot of different reasons that, the benefit of us, of HEB and myself being able to work with the school is that, we really see students come in, right out of high school or in high school. They're 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're starting their very first job. And as an employer, we can see really what they're lacking, right? We can say, okay, you know what? We've got this group of high school students. Something that I noticed they need to work on is their communication skills, right? Maybe it's their customer service skills. I mean, whatever that looks like, right? And so then we can go back and share that information with CAS Lead and say, it would really be great if you did some type of course on customer service, some type of course on communication, some type of course, just really any skill that we can see. And these are basic, what they call soft skills or marketable skills that we see a lot of kids that just don't have them. But you can't expect them to have it if no one's teaching them. And so CAS Lead, being in the format they are, have the ability to teach these kids some basic skills that are going to help them be successful no matter what job they have, right? And so the other part is, we get to identify talent early. So, part of the CAS Lead, they've got an e-commerce section where they're really teaching these kids about e-commerce, which we all know is really people are shopping online, right? They're shopping online. There's big ones, of course, HEB. Whataburger has a mobile app you can order from. You look at Amazon is huge. These kids really need to understand business from that perspective as well. And we need people to come into our industry that have that understanding and can really help us build the formats of the future, right? Whatever that looks like. If you keep up with retail news, you'll know that, a lot of companies some of them are shutting down their brick and mortar and going only to online. Some are continuing to do both. HEB will always do both because there's a customer to serve in both formats. But really, these kids are our future. And if we can identify strong talent early when they're 16, 17, 18 years old, they can come and do a high school internship with us at HEB and then come back and do a college internship with us at HEB and potentially grow a career with us. And so as we work, CAS Tech is another CAS school. They actually have their first graduating class of seniors this year. They're hot on the market. And tech companies, grocery companies, any type of company is really interested in those students because they've got UX design, they're teaching them programming, they're teaching them skills that are hot in the market today. And that's what CAS Lead does. It's giving them skills that are needed in the market today and 5-10 years from now. And so that's what companies look for. So for HEB, the benefit is really having that inside track to amazing students that are learning amazing skills that directly affect our industry. And so that's my take on it.
All right. I saw Mr. Bishop. He was doing spirit fingers. So spirit fingers, Katie and Belle, please. Thank you. Thank you, Belle. All right. Thank you both so much. I'm going to keep you in the virtual studio, but we're going to talk to someone else. But again, viewers, if you have any questions, especially for the industry partners and how it relates to Cass Lead High School and, the industry partners themselves, please ask away. But again, thank you both very much. And I want to bring on now, it's important to, get all the perspectives. So you have to get a perspective of someone that's doing the work right now. So I want to bring on student Shayla Wash and her father, Mr. Wash. And how are you guys doing?
We're doing fine, sir. Thank you for asking.
All right. And so Shayla, you're currently in CAST, yes?
Yes, sir.
And ninth grade?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, I mean, this is, before we jump into the questions, one of the questions that I get all the time, because I'm going to ask you why you chose Cass Lead, and I'm going to ask you what your dream career is. But first, I'm going to ask you, do you get to experience the same things that all the other kids get to experience at East Central High School?
I'm not sure about at East Central High School, but at Cass Lead, yes, sir. And while Cass Lead goes on field trips for the virtual kids, we still get to see the activities that they've been in from a recording video.
So, like, for example, if you wanted to play sports or something like that, you can participate in sports, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's what I was kind of getting at. That's one of the most frequently asked questions on social media. So I wanted to hear from a student from herself. All right. So let me ask you, Shayla, why did you choose Cass Lead?
I chose Cass Lead because I heard a lot of great things about our school, and I felt like it can make a difference in my future education.
All right. And then Mr. Walsh, I mean, your daughter's going into this brand new school, Cass Lead, first year of existence, and so she comes to you, I'm assuming, and says, I want to go to this new high school, Cass Lead. Going into Cass Lead, what were your thoughts? And then what are your thoughts now about Cass Lead?
Okay, sir. For myself, when Shayla mentioned Cass Lead High School to me, the first thing I told her was take advantage of the opportunity. If you get a chance to participate in a educational program that can also provide you with life skills as a child in the form of learning how to network, work on your leadership and teamwork skills, to go for it. On top of it, it challenges her from attending a regular high school. So when she mentioned it to me, I told her go for it. I told her that the only thing that can limit you in life is yourself. So hit the ground running.
And so how do you feel about it now? We're almost done with this academic year. How are you feeling?
Is that question for both of us, or you want me to just answer, sir?
For Mr. Wash.
Okay, sir. I'm proud of Shayla. I'm happy with her progress in school. Despite the remote learning situation, I'm very happy with her progress in her classes, her relationship with her teachers, the principals, all the counselors, all the administration at the school has been very friendly and very help with any in addressing any concerns we may have had with the school. And I'm happy that she's attending this school. I think it's great for her, and I think it's going to benefit her in the long run and give her a lot of life skills that she normally wouldn't get until she's out of college, or in some cases maybe even a little later in life. She's getting to experience this now as a freshman in high school, and I think that's a great opportunity for her.
Definitely. And Shayla, someone informed me that you have an internship lined up this summer. Do you want to tell us about that?
I'm not sure exactly what it will be, but I believe that is based off of community service throughout the community and being able to help with things that need to be done.
Is it with a particular business, or can you tell us that part or no?
I'm not sure.
Right. Sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot, but still, though, the fact. Oh, okay, yeah, she doesn't know the details yet. All right, fine, fair enough. But still, though, the opportunity to do an internship, while you're a freshman, that's really awesome. And again, kind of want to echo some of the things Mr. Wash said, which is, you're getting all these, tangible skills and assets that when you finish high school puts you ahead of many others in a very competitive market. So, and I did get another bit of information about that internship. Apparently it's paid, so that's even better. So a paid internship is always better than a free. And then, so Shayla, what is your dream career?
I've thought about being a cosmetologist because it's something that I like to do, that I've always liked to do since I was younger.
So cosmetologists, makeup, hair, all that stuff?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any suggestions for me? Just kidding. Don't answer that. Don't answer that question. All right. So Mr. Wash, again, it seems like you're very pleased with your daughter and the decision to go into Cass Lead. Are there any final thoughts that you want to give to parents that are watching right now that are kind of maybe on the fence or maybe just hearing about Cass Lead for the first time? Is there anything you can offer to them, any sort of advice or anything from your experience with Cass Lead that you would like to offer?
Yes, sir. My advice would be to be as supportive of your child's decisions concerning Cass Lead, and to not look at it as it may be too much of a challenge, because again, the sky is the limit. And if we cast doubt, in our child's minds, then they begin to doubt themselves. So the first thing I would say is just, if your child has an interest in it, just tell them go for it all the way. Don't be nervous. If you stumble, get back up. That's what you have the teachers there for. They will assist you in any way they can. And even if you still continue to stumble, you still have the support from the parents at home as well. From everything I've seen with Shayla and her schoolwork this year, she's been challenged. She's had to step out of her comfort zone. She's had to conduct interviews on a professional level with working adults, people that are actually in the working class, which is not normal for a freshman student to be interacting with professionals. When I was in high school, I had my peers. I had my friends. We spoke, but I've never had the opportunity to call someone in the field of social work or restaurant chain managing and ask them questions about what the job requires or the educational requirements for that job. And she's had that experience because she attends Cass Lead. And I would just say, if your child has an interest in it, or it's being offered to your student, support them and take a chance with it. You won't be disappointed.
Fantastic. Shayla, Mr. Wash, thank you so much. And what would you like to do? Would you like to do spare fingers or snaps?
Spirit fingers.
All right. Good job. Shayla and Mr. Wash, I'll keep you in the virtual studio in case we get any questions that may roll in, but I want to thank you so much, both of you, for your time. And I'm super impressed that you're in freshman, by the way. You're miles ahead of many others that come before you. So congratulations. So we talked to a student, talked to a parent, and so we got to talk to a teacher, right? And so I want to bring on Mr. Tim Bishop. And before we get started, Mr. Bishop, I do want to say that I really want to compliment you on your mean man bun. So from one man bun to another, congratulations, sir. That gets spear fingers and snaps and jazz hands and everything.
Digital fist bump right there.
This digital fist bump, yes, all that stuff. Because I appreciate it. We got to band together, man. And so we just talked to Shayla Walsh, and I believe, is she in your class?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Fourth period every Monday and Wednesday. I wish I could see her all 5 days of the week. She's an amazing, amazing student, and we're blessed to have her. So thanks, Mr. Wash, for letting her follow that intuition.
So let me ask you, what makes teaching at Cass Lead unique?
And I actually had so you sent that question out for us to mull over, and I had a hard time with it because I only get 10 minutes. I've been teaching for going on 10 years now, and I've taught 5th grade. I've taught 6th grade. I've taught as a coach on a early childhood through 5th grade campus in San Antonio. And I can tell you that I've never had the type of support from not just the administration. Dr. Fuller and Ms. Vasquez are just incredible leaders, but also from the folks outside of the school with the cast business partners, with Whataburger and HEB, just to name a few. But the support that they're giving me is their encouragement to be responsive to students like Shayla. So when I get to work with kids like Shayla and her peers, I get to be responsive to what they need in the moment that they need it, in order to put them in better positions in their real world experiences, versus in my past experiences being beholden to a calendar. So I get to come to work with my authentic self and everything that I've got, along with the input from the people above me and next to me, to work with the kids. And then what the kids do is they give me their feedback on what they need and how I can do that better. And it turns into a much more holistic version of education. I get to support the students both academically as well as in their professional efforts, right, moving forward. And also on that social emotional piece, where when they hit those frustration points because they haven't, they're hitting those real world walls that they're going to have to work through, we get to do this really weird thing that a lot of other teachers don't get to do, which is slow down and help them cope and push through and build that skill of resiliency that is not something that we really have the time to do in the rest of the education world. Like I said, I could fill the next hour if you want me to, but there's just so much that, and the real world networking that we get to do as teachers with the students on behalf of solving these greater issues and working with these projects is just it's an incredibly rewarding experience. I want to get all of my teacher friends over here like as soon as possible. Like, let's Castify Texas. Let's do it.
All right, I love it. Yeah, and I'm sure you could fill up an hour, but we want to be respectful of everyone's time here. There's a lot of prospective students and parents watching. How are you preparing the students for their future?
So by kind of going back to that idea of being responsive, we often ask students after they leave high school to go out and be leaders and do these things to change the world, but they haven't been put in the position or trained once they get into those positions of what to do. So like case in point, you can't ask a student to provide customer service in their job right out of high school if you haven't first trained them on what customer service looks like and what companies should serve as excellent models of customer service and the various forms and fashions that customer service takes in. You got to put them in the situation we get to do that. We can't ask students to go out into the world and be industry leaders and servant leaders and community leaders if we don't put them in the positions where they have to research good leaders and speak to good leaders and question what good leaders do in order to implement those things. We can't ask students to be good at communicating if we don't ask them and put them in situations where they have to authentically communicate. And that's what we're doing, right? So when we're writing essays in the idea that they're going to have to speak these essays into the world and get feedback and make them better and smoother. And, writing emails, which just seems like such a simple thing, but is so critical for communication in larger companies or startup companies. So that's, I know I'm speaking at a mile a minute because I get so excited about the stuff that these kids are doing. It blows my mind how far they've taken this. We're putting them in positions where, we kind of pull the training wheels off and say, no, this is your project. You have to be agential. You have to take this on for yourself. And we're there as their safety net and their guides versus always saying, hey, here's the next thing. You have to do this. This is what, this thing is for a grade and this thing is for a grade and this thing is for a grade versus we get to put them in those real world situations and guide them through it with the expertise that we bring in both from our teaching backgrounds and our working backgrounds. I'm a quintessential millennial. I've had 17 jobs before I decided to become a teacher. So I definitely can bring in some of those experiences too, to say, hey, here's some real world stuff that I can bring. And then in the part where I lack, we've got 5 other experts in the building, and we have our amazing business partners that are always on call to answer questions for kids.
All right. And a millennial with the man bun, who would have thought?
Yeah, I know. Tattoos, sorry. I'm a walking cliche. What can I say?
Hey, real quick, Mr. Bishop, we're almost done with year 1 of Cast Lead. Reflecting on year 1, some thoughts?
Next year, we are going to be off to the races, right? We've seen how resilient kids are, especially in dealing with what they've dealt with this year, right? Pandemics and online learning. These kids are just far more incredible than sometimes I think we ever understand. I'm speaking both as a teacher and as a parent and as a community member. I really want to, I know that next year with the amazing freshmen that are going to be sophomores guiding our new freshmen next year, the business partners, Dr. Fuller, Ms. Vasquez, the other teachers that are here on the team and the teachers coming in, we're going to do some incredible stuff. The kids this year really blew my mind, and knowing what they can do, seeing next year is going to be amazing.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bishop. And I want to bring everybody back on real quick here. So we'll do this little Brady Bunch box thing here. And so I have a question for everybody. And let's see. It is, what is one thing you wish you had known when you were in high school? And Mr. Bishop just talked. So Caitlin, let's start with you.
I guess I wish I would have known that I didn't need to have it all figured out, and that it was okay to explore different careers that are out there and to, look at different majors, and that through exploration, that is where I was going to find my place. I actually was in education for a while and then left education to work for HEB in their procurement department, and then came back to education with Cass Lead. And so as a high school student, I thought I had to have everything figured out. And if I wasn't directly on one path, then something was wrong with me. So I kind of wish that someone had said, it's okay to explore. And through exploration and through seeking advice and getting mentors that can help you along the way, you'll figure it out and everything will be okay.
Yes, everybody do something. All right, so let's see, Dr. Fuller, let's go with you. What is one thing you wish you had known when you were in high school?
Oh gosh, that I hadn't gone to school to be an accountant. I would have gone into education. And coming from a very comprehensive high school model and now moving to Cass Lead, just a truly amazing opportunity, because what I see is teachers teaching life skills, but not separate to content. They're embedding what kids need to know and they're connecting them. So I wish somebody would have said, hey, have you ever thought about HEB, or have you ever thought about all of the career opportunities at Whataburger, and just really enlightened me on some of that, or said, hey, I noticed your strength is this. You would be a really good educator. So I might have gone a different route. And I think that's just something that I want to try to do better for the kids I have now. And so that's one thing I would have changed.
All right. Let's see, Katie, same question.
So I think mine is similar to Dr. Fuller's. Is I wish I would have just known what my options were, right? It was either go to work or go to a 4-year college when I was graduating. And there's so many different things in between. There's certification programs, there's 2-year associate's degrees. There's so many different opportunities for training after high school. And I didn't know, I actually wanted to be a teacher, but my thought process was, well, I have to go to a 4-year school and my family can't afford that. And I really need to go to work because my family can't support me. But I didn't know that I could go to Alamo colleges for next to nothing and at least go slowly. And I didn't have to rush it. It didn't have to be done in 4 years. So I just think it's so important for us to help students understand that there are multiple ways to get to their goals. There's multiple tracks that you can take. Not everybody's path's the same. And then once you decide on a path, doesn't mean you're going to stay that for the rest of your life. I mean, Mr. Bishop admitted he's had, 25 jobs before he became a teacher, something crazy like that. But it took him how long to figure it out? But yet everything he did along the way has created this amazing teacher that he is today because of all the experiences that he had along the way. So I think it's just really important for us to help students understand what their options are and just know that there is a way to get to where you want to be, no matter how intimidating it may seem.
Thank you, Katie. And then real quick, before we get to Belle, if you have any questions, any of the viewers, go ahead and ask right now in the comments because we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. But Belle, same question. What is something that you wish you had known when you were in high school?
Yeah, I think if there's one thing is your gut, following your gut and your intuition and that feeling that you have internally, just knowing that trust yourself. And if there's something that you know you need to be doing and you really have your purpose and your mission of something that you know that you want to do and that you'd be really good at and you'd be passionate about, to go with it. Because what happens is that early in life, as Katie was mentioning, and as Dr. Fuller and even Mr. Bishop, as you go through these decisions, you tend to go off of what is it that everyone else wants me to do versus what is it that I know I want to do and that I would be pretty good at or I would learn to do. And that is where we always end up at. And I got to tell you, yes, I went through several different majors at the University of Texas, and I went with a major that my high school teacher, when I was walking the stage receiving my diploma, said, I know you want to be a plastic surgeon. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I'd go to law school. And she said, you're going to go into English. And I ended up with an English degree. And I wish I would have pursued that from the get-go, because I would have really been able to get a different experience at the university had I just gone with what I knew I was going to end up doing. And then when it relates to careers, use all those experiences to take you where you need to go. And exactly like everyone here has heard is, I wish I would have known that it's okay to try different things and you could still go where you need to go internally. So just follow that instinct. That would be the one thing I wish I would have listened to myself.
Yeah, lots of spare fingers on that one. Mr. Wash, I know there's got to be something, you wish you had known in high school. What do you have?
From everything I've learned throughout life as an adult, I really do wish in high school I would have known that, it's okay to be unsure of where you want to go in life at that age. I always had the mindset that as soon as I graduate, I need to make a decision. I either need to go straight to college or continue working full time. And I've always wanted to be in the military. So right after graduation, I think I graduated in June, and I left in August straight to the military right after graduating. And I think for myself, I would have loved to have known that, it's okay to take a couple months to kind of get your bearings and figure things out, so you don't feel so much pressure to make a decision to join the working class or pursue a higher form of education.
All right, good. And then, yes, spare fingers all around. I love it. And then, of course, last but not least, my man bone brother, Mr. Bishop. What do you wish you had known back then?
I'm gonna be repeating myself, but repeating some of the others. But I wish that I had an opportunity to be put in the working positions to sample those things, right? So similar to Bell, I changed majors like 5 or 6 times, right? I graduated almost at that cap to start paying out of state tuition, and then I worked all of these other jobs. I wish that in high school there were programs where they would say, well, what are you interested in, and then put me in positions where I could get a taste of that job, versus having to find out and put myself in debt, work in jobs to make ends meet that I didn't want to keep or work in. If there was a time where, when I was Shayla's age and going through high school, where I could have tried those things out with more of a safety net and the type of care that my teachers wanted to provide me, that would have changed my world, right? I think I could have gotten a better idea of what I really wanted to do. Now, I am in that position now, but it took a long time to get there. And I think that's really what a lot of our other students deserve now, is just a chance to try stuff out in a place where they can be safe to succeed or fail, right? And get most out of their time here.
Yeah, I mean,
Brandon, we can't hear you.
We can take up the next 30 minutes. By the way, Alicia Reddick, that's my grandma. So thanks, Grandma, for getting on here.
All right, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So again, I just want to thank everybody for their time tonight, for lending their expertise and their experiences. I know it's been extremely valuable for everybody watching, and prospective students that may be finding out about Cassidy for the first time, or maybe on the fence about it, have a better knowledge about it. So again, I want to thank you all very much for your time. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, Caitlin, Dr. Fuller, Katie Chain, Bell, and Shayla Wash, and Mr. Wash. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having us as well.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Dr. Fuller, don't run away yet, because I'm going to leave you with the last comment here to basically tell us where can we go for more information.
So you can visit us on ecisd.net, CAS Lead under schools, or casschools.com. We're currently accepting applications for incoming 9th graders and 10th graders. Super excited. We're adding 10th grade next year, and anybody can apply. So there's no requirements. You just simply have to apply, and anybody from anywhere can apply to get in. So, and we'll contact you. But if you have any questions, you can email me at wendy.fuller@ecisd.net, and we can answer any and all questions you may have.
All right. So thank you very much, Dr. Fuller. Jose said that Cass Lead is an amazing opportunity for students to really take ownership of their growth and development. Lots of great spare fingers and things tonight. So again, I want to thank you, Dr. Fuller, and thank all of our guests for this evening. And again, we are leaving up the information for Cass Lead just a little bit longer, so you can go ahead and bookmark the page, apply now, all that stuff. If you haven't missed any of the broadcasts, you can always go back and watch it at any time. The same exact links that you took to get here, you can go back and watch it at any time. You can rewind, fast forward, skip over me. That's fine too. And so we are going to have more Facebook and YouTube lives coming up in the month of May. So just keep your eyes out, and we'll see you next time. Good evening.